Happy Saturday. Take three. I've already done several full videos, and I promised myself that I would not keep redoing videos while I'm doing these daily posts, but I'm just not happy with my discussion today. So here we go. Let's try this again. Happy Saturday. Happy July 4th, 2026. If you are here in the United States, today is the semi-quincentennial of the country. This is the day in 1776 when the Declaration of Independence was signed. I don't know what the founding fathers would think of our country 250 years later because many things have changed and it has grown quite a bit since those early years. We do encompass the entire coast to coast of this portion of the North American continent, probably more than our founding fathers maybe would have imagined when the West was considered to be places like Tennessee. But now we stretch from the Atlantic to the Pacific and from Canada to Mexico, and we have 50 states and numerous territories, and it's become quite the large and diverse country, a lot more diverse maybe than it was in the early days. But I think the intent behind founding this country was to allow diversity, more freedom of religion, and things like that. And again, I'm not sure what our founding fathers would think about the direction our country has taken over the centuries since its inception, but here we are celebrating that we are still around, that we are, I guess, still a work in progress in many ways because there is a lot that needs to be addressed. But many people still see us as that shining example of democracy, which I don't know if that is true or not. At this point in time, I would feel like it is probably not quite the opposite, but not quite where we want to be. But without taking this too far down that road, I just wanted to take a moment to recognize that we are celebrating a milestone, a large anniversary, one that feels much different than our country did 50 years ago during the bicentennial year of 1976. I cannot believe it has been 5 decades since that happened. I do still have very strong memories of that period in time. I got a 10-speed bike for my birthday. I think I was either a half or three-quarter size because I wasn't a very tall person. And the bike was red, white, and blue. I believe it was a Schwinn with the wraparound handlebars. And I loved that bike. And when I got married and moved, I gave it to my brother, and he decided to take it apart and do something with it. So that poor bike no longer exists. But it was a great birthday present. And that was a great celebration of our nation because the country, it seemed like it was red, white, and blue from coast to coast. Not to say that there weren't still problems that we were facing. It was the mid 1970s. There were economic issues, there were gas crises. We had just gone through Watergate. Um, you know, historically, looking back, it was probably just as messed up as our country feels right now in some ways. But we still had a very strong streak of patriotism going on, and there were things like tall ships and, of course, a lot of fireworks. People were out celebrating, putting red, white, and blue everywhere, and putting a flag out in their front porch, which JT and I will do probably today, and just showing their patriotism in many, many ways. And it did feel like a big birthday party that year, and it felt like a an extensive birthday party. I don't know if it's because I've been so focused on being writing and publishing that I haven't really been paying much attention to the outside world. But I don't feel as though we are celebrating quite as strongly this year as we did 50 years ago. It may be because it is kind of a halfway point between the bicentennial and the tricentennial. And, maybe people are not feeling that it's as big a deal as the 200th anniversary was. But it does feel a little bit more low key, at least to me. And I wonder what your impression is. Were you around for the bicentennial? And if so, do you feel like this year is a little bit less celebratory than that year was? And what do you remember from 1976 if you were there? Were you in school? Did your school do any fun activities? Did you learn any interesting lessons that were related to the bicentennial? Did you participate in any community or national events? I still regret the fact that I have not yet made it to Washington, D.C. We did drive by because we went through Maryland, but never actually stopped in Washington, D.C. I do hope to get there someday still. There are still many states that I need to visit in order to catch all 50 of them. I haven't quite done that yet. So I do want to see more of our country. I do enjoy exploring our country, and I do love learning about the country. If you followed me for a while, you know that I'm a history nerd and that I am in progress on a book about Nevada history, a historical fiction book that will be coming out in October. But, the history of our states is intrinsically intertwined with the history of our country because our country is made up of a variety of states that can be, to many people, almost little countries in their own right, because Europeans, especially some who came recently to attend the World Cup, um, have found that the United States is much more vast than they expected. And some of the countries in Europe, in some of the instances, are even smaller than some of our states. So the United States is a unique conglomeration of states that have come together in the 250 years since this country came to be. And the history of each of those states is very unique. And that's why I'm currently exploring the history of my home state. I may actually visit or revisit the history of my birth state, which is neighboring California at some point, and that could be a lot of fun. But right now I'm focused on Nevada, and I need to get back to work on Battleborn Bride because I need to get that edited and back to my editors for proofreading in the hope that I have those ready to go by October for Nevada Day this year. But in the meantime, I know a lot of people will be celebrating today, and if you are, I hope you have a wonderful time. I hope you're able to get some outdoor time. It's going to be hot here in Nevada, so JT and I went out for an early breakfast and did a little walk around the downtown area just to stretch our legs and get some fresh air before the heat of the day kicks in. I don't know if we'll pop our heads out later today to see if we can see any of the fireworks. They do have them here in town, not where they used to set them off. They're actually setting them off to the northeast of where they used to be. They used to actually set them off at the back of the Carson High School, but they've moved it up to a golf course on the northeastern part of town, which is probably a better idea. And I think it makes them a little bit more visible to the community as a whole. I believe also Carson City is installing 2 new flags, one at the north end of town and one at the south end of town, to commemorate our semi-quincentennial, or the semi-quincentennial of the United States. So we will apparently have 2 of those very large, they're called garrison flags, one at each end of town. So that could be interesting. And they're also going to be doing an old-fashioned soapbox derby in the parking lot of our local movie theater, the Galaxy Fandango, which is attached to the Casino Fandango at our south end of town. So there's a lot of old-fashioned fun happening here in Carson City today, though I don't know how many people will actually be out enjoying it during the heat of the day. I suspect people may be hiding away until sunset when it will start to cool down again. It could be a beautiful night for fireworks because it's currently cloudless and there is very little wind, which is nice. Normally, we get winds when there is a change in the weather or the temperature. And we are supposed to have a bit of a dip in our temperatures tomorrow, so it might get a little windy later today, but hopefully not enough to mess with the fireworks show that is planned for this evening. So, if you are in a community that does a lot of celebratory events for the 4th of July just normally, or especially in this semi-quincentennial year, I hope you get a chance to get out and enjoy them. Or, if you are volunteering for them, kudos to you because it can be a lot of work, especially during this hot weather. And with the amount of people who tend to show up for these types of events, volunteering and volunteers are very important. And it's not just for special events, volunteering in any way is a good thing. But I think, especially in situations like this, when there is a big commemoration of some kind, volunteers are going to be the backbone of any events that are happening. So if you are volunteering at a local community event for this 4th of July holiday or for the semi-quincentennial celebration, my hat's off to you because I've done my share of volunteering and I know just how hard and tiring the work can be. But as I said, I plan to hide myself away today to work on books. Got to finish my edits on Battleborn Bride. I am beta reading JT's next book, and I have to write my chapter for the next romance that JT and I are co-writing. So there's a lot to be done. I will be celebrating my daughter's birthday, which is technically today. We will be celebrating that on Monday because she prefers not to be trying to compete with all the people who are out celebrating the 4th of July. And if you do have a holiday birthday, I can understand what a mixed blessing that might be. It's nice in the sense that you may be off of work or school, but it can also be challenging if you want to go do something like enjoy an amusement park or a quiet day at the beach, especially on the 4th of July. Beaches and amusement parks are going to be really crowded today. So if you are celebrating a birthday today, I wish you a happy one. And I hope that if you are celebrating today, you find some fun events to enjoy. Maybe get a little bit of apple pie or, ice cream or something like that. It just seems to be, what was it? The old Chevy commercial. Baseball, apple pie. No, baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. Oh, we go together in the good old USA. Baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. See, now this is one of the more fun parts of being an older person is you cannot remember what you did 5 minutes ago, but I can remember a commercial from I don't know how long ago that it's stuck in my brain. Also, on the commercial front, I am wearing a Coca-Cola t-shirt that has some of the lyrics from one of their old commercials where they'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. And I love this shirt because I'm a big fan of Coca-Cola. I collect Coca-Cola, but also it reminds me of being a kid and the time period when when that commercial aired, which was in the 1970s. It felt like a very hopeful time where people were trying to come together. So that's one of the reasons I like to wear this. And it's got the fun smiley face and everything on it. And I actually got this at the Coca-Cola store in Las Vegas, which that was an adventure. Didn't mean to turn this into a vintage commercial, but sometimes those are fun and they do bring about a sense of nostalgia that feels very appropriate on a day when we are celebrating the history of our nation. So if you are having nostalgic feelings on this July 4th, I hope you are able to take a chance to sit back and just think about them and enjoy the feelings that they bring back. Also, if you are, if you remember any fun old commercials, go ahead and mention them in the comments down below because one of the things I do on TikTok is I end up seeing a lot of old school commercials like the Wendy's Where's the Beef? Some of those old commercials can be really fun to revisit. So If you have a favorite vintage commercial, go ahead and mention it down below. Or if you have a favorite memory of a 4th of July or any, special holiday, that would be fun to talk about too. So, yeah, sorry. With that, I think I need to go and get to work because, like I said, I have many projects in progress right now that I really need to get done. And I do hope to maybe get outside, at least pop my head out for a few minutes to see some of the fireworks this evening. And I would like to be able to do that and not feel guilty that I haven't gotten any of my work done for the day. So I hope you have a wonderful Saturday, a wonderful celebratory day, if that is what you are doing. If you are either volunteering or working today, I hope your day goes well, that it's not too stressful, and I will chat with you again tomorrow. I'm Cassidy Carson, and this is The Life of a Writer. Take care.